Dark Reader, and welcome to the Dark Side of the Library podcast. I'm your host, Katie, and with me is my co-host, Carrie.
And I have a cold, so I sound like crap. I apologize.
The longest cold in the world.
But I've been getting so much reading done because I'm stuck at home because I can't go out. So I read 2 books a day the last several days. Woo!
I don't even think I can read 2 books a day.
Well, they were shorter, and I had a deadline of book club that was making me panic. So
yeah,
that makes you turn off the Netflix, step away from the Hulu, and start reading.
True. Well, hopefully you have some room in your TBR because this month in February of 2024, there are a ton of adult fiction reads coming out. So this is actually part 1 of a 2-part for our adult fiction new releases that are coming out. Just so you're aware, audience members, if you are interested in any of these books, check out our show notes. They do have affiliate links, and we do get a small commission if you do end up buying those. Carrie, why don't you get us started today with our list of February releases?
Yeah, I wanted to point out we have not read any of these. We don't have our hands on any of them yet, except for one book that I'll tell you about later. That's in my Kindle. It just arrived yesterday morning. Oh. I'm very excited about it. So we don't know if these are good or not. We're just letting you know about books that we think are going to be cool that are coming out.
Yeah.
So my first one is by Mindy's Book Studio, which is Mindy Kaling, and she does the introduction to this book, Almost Surely Dead. It's by Amina Akhtar, and it's a psychological thriller with a twist. Ooh. It's a chilling account of how one woman's life spins out of control after a terrifying and seemingly random attempt on her life. I hate it when people try to kill me. So, Dunia Ahmed lives an ordinary life, or she definitely used to. Now she's the subject of a true crime podcast. She's been missing for over a year, and no one knows if she's dead or alive. But her story has listeners obsessed, and people everywhere are sporting merchandise that demands, "Find Dunia!" So in the days before her disappearance, Dunia was a successful pharmacist living in New York. She's the daughter of Pakistani immigrants, and she's coping with a broken engagement and the death of her mother.
Aww.
But then something happens that really shakes up her world. Someone tries to murder her. And then her would-be killer winds up dead. Yeah, as they probably should, fair enough. Dunia figures the worst is over. But then there's another attempt on her life and another. What the hell is going on?
I know.
And police suspect that someone close to her may be the culprit. So Dunia struggles to make sense of what's happening, and as childhood superstitions seep into her reality, she becomes convinced that someone or something is truly after her. I've got to read this. So,
yeah.
This is Almost Surely Dead by Amina Akhtar.
My first book of today is called The Antique Hunter's Guide to Murder.
Oh.
This is the first of maybe a series of books. I don't know. This comes out February 6th, and this is by C.L. Miller. Carrie, I have a question for you.
I muted myself because I was coughing, and I was slurping hot tea, and I didn't think the listeners wanted to hear the tea slurps.
That's okay. Okay, so what antique would you kill for?
My mind immediately thought of the Hope Diamond, but when I saw it, I wasn't that impressed. I was too busy looking at all the gems and minerals at the museum besides that one. Antique I would kill for. How about a beautiful green fairy embossed absinthe bottle?
Oh my god, that's a really good answer. I don't think I'd kill for any antique.
You're a good person. I feel bad now. I immediately went to murder to get this green bottle of absinthe.
Hey, you had to answer so fast too. I was impressed. Okay, so this book is about Freya Lockwood, and she is shocked when she learns that Arthur Crockleford, antiques dealer and her estranged mentor, has died under mysterious circumstances. She has spent the last 20 years avoiding her quaint English hometown, but when she receives a letter from Arthur asking her to investigate, sent just days before his death, Freya has no choice but to return to a life she had sworn to leave behind, as we all do when we leave. Joining forces with her eccentric Aunt Carol, Freya follows clues to an old manor house for an advertised antiques enthusiasts weekend. But not all is as it seems. It's clear to Freya that the antiques are all just poor reproductions.
Oh, that's rude. You went all the way out there.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't like that. I hate that. So her fellow guests are secretive and menacing, of course. What is going on at this estate and how was Arthur involved? More importantly, can Freya and Carol discover the truth before the killer strikes again? Okay, so now we've got to the killer part. So this sounds like a murder mystery-esque story, but there is an old manor in this book. So this is The Antique Hunter's Guide to Murder by C.L. Miller.
I want to be crazy Aunt Carol. My name is close enough.
You are pretty much there. And
Thank
you're
you.
well loved. I would have you join me for an investigation.
My next book, I can barely look at the cover because there's a snake about to eat a cute little bird. Whew.
Oh!
It's called The Blueprint. It comes out February 13. It's by Giana, Rashad. The publisher is Harper. So Solène Bonnet lives in Texas, where choice no longer exists. So I'm guessing the book is set in, 2024? Sorry, anyway. In this alternate world, an algorithm determines a black woman's occupation, her spouse, and her residence. So Solène finds solace in penning the biography of Henriette, an ancestor who'd been an enslaved concubine to a wealthy planter in 1800s Louisiana. But history repeats itself when Solène, lonely and naive, finds herself entangled with Bastien Martin. His name is suspiciously close to the word bastard. Sorry. I sound angrier than I feel, I promise. He's a high-ranking government official. Solène finds the psychological bond unbearable, so she considers alternatives. With Henriette as her guide, she must decide whether and how to leave behind all she knows. So this book is inspired by the lives of enslaved concubines to U.S. politicians and planters, and the book, The Blueprint, unfolds over dual timelines to explore bodily autonomy, hypocrisy, and power imbalances through the lens of the nation's most unprotected, a black girl. Woo!
Wow.
That's going to be a lot. That's The Blueprint, a novel by Giana, Rashad.
My next book, I know you are going to get, or I'm just going to have to get it for you. This is a Carrie book, for sure. This is called The Book of Doors. This comes out February 13th. This is by Gareth Brown, and the publisher is William Morrow. It's a magical adventure, romance, all the things, fantasy book. It is very similar to The Midnight Library, The Night Circus, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Yeah.
I'm in.
Do we need to say any more? But wait, there's more. Cassie Andrews works in a New York City bookshop, shelving books, making coffee for customers.
Dream job. Sorry.
This is like Carrie's whole world here.
I did not mean to interrupt, but I got so excited.
No, this is really good. I was like, oh man, this is a Carrie book for sure. So she's living this pretty ordinary life until one day, one of her favorite customers, a lonely yet charming old man, dies right in front of her.
Oh.
Cassie is devastated. She always loved his stories, and now she has nothing to remember him by. Nothing but the last book he was reading. But this is no ordinary book. It is the Book of Doors. Inscribed with enigmatic words and mysterious drawings, it promises Cassie that any door is every door. You just need to know how to open them. Then she's approached by a gaunt stranger in a rumpled black suit with a Scottish brogue who calls himself Drummond Fox.
Whoa.
He's a librarian who keeps watch over a unique set of rare volumes. The tome now in Cassie's possession is not the only book with great power, but it is the one most coveted by those who collect them. So now Cassie is being hunted by those few who know of the special books. With only her roommate Izzy to confide in, she has to decide if she will help the mysterious and haunted Drummond protect the Book of Doors and the other books in his secret library's care from those who will do evil, because only Drummond knows where the unique library is, and only Cassie's book can get them there. But there are those willing to kill to obtain those secrets, and a dark force in the form of a shadowy, sadistic woman is at the top of that list. There's a lot going on, but it sounds really intriguing. This is called The Book of Doors. It's by Gareth Brown.
I'm going to pre-order it right now.
Yes.
My next book is The Book of Love by Kelly Link, and it comes out on February 13, just in time for Valentine's Day.
Aww.
But as with all the books here, it's going to be a little dark. That's why you're here. It is the first novel from Kelly Link, who's normally a short story author. So in this book, 3 teenagers, although this is not a YA book, become pawns in a supernatural power struggle. I hate when that happens.
Oh, man.
So late one night, Laura, Daniel, and Mo find themselves beneath the fluorescent lights of a high school classroom almost a year after disappearing from their hometown, the small seaside community of Lovesend, Massachusetts. They've been long presumed dead, which in fact they are.
Oh.
And with them in the room is their previously unremarkable high school music teacher, who seems to know something about their disappearance and what has brought them back again. They're desperate to reclaim their lives, as you would be.
Yeah.
The 3 agree to the terms of the bargain that their music teacher proposes. Oh.
Interesting.
They will be given a series of magical tasks, and while they undertake them, they may return to their families and friends, but they can tell no one where they've been. In the end, there will be winners and there will be losers. But we're not done yet. Their resurrection has attracted the notice of other supernatural figures, all with their own agendas.
Oh, no.
So Laura, Daniel, and Mo are grappling with the pieces of the lives they left behind, and Laura's sister, Susanna, is trying to reconcile what she remembers with what she fears, and these mysterious others begin to arrive, and they're engulfing the whole community in danger and chaos. Yay!
Oh!
And it becomes imperative that the teens solve the mystery of their deaths to avert a looming disaster.
Wow.
So the publisher is Random House. It's The Book of Love by Kelly Link. Whew!
That sounds... Okay, I think I might get into that one. That sounds interesting. This one is, if you're looking for a dark comedy story with werewolves, this is your book. This is called Bored Gay Werewolf, and it's by Tony Santorella. It comes out February 27th. It deals with sexuality, minimum wage jobs, lunar cycles, toxic masculinity, and the everyday perils of life as a modern werewolf. So everything you possibly can imagine. Brian is an aimless slacker, works doubles at his shift job, forgets to clean his room, and lays about with his friends Nick and Darby. If he's working doubles, I don't think he's much of a slacker, in my opinion. But anyway, he's been struggling to manage his transition to adulthood almost as much as his monthly transitions to a werewolf. See, I feel like he's going through a lot. I would be slacking around too.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot. So really, he is not great at the whole werewolf thing, and his recent murderous slip-ups have caught the attention of Tyler, a millennial were-mentor determined to take the mythological world by storm. Tyler has a plan, and weirdly, his self-help punditry actually encourages Brian to shape up and to stop accidentally marking out guys who ghosted him on Grindr as potential monthly victims. I mean, poor guy. So, but as Brian gets closer to Tyler's pack and alienated from his friends Nick and Darby, he realizes that Tyler's expansion plans are much more nefarious than a little lupine enlightenment. So this is kind of a goofy, big-hearted, fun, smart take on doomsday logic of late capitalism, but a whole bunch of other cool things as well. The publisher is Atlantic Books. This is Bored Gay Werewolf by Tony Santorella.
I love the title, and I never knew that something was missing from my life until now. Why don't I have a were mentor?
I know, it's great.
My next book wins the Carrie and Katie Best Most Beautiful Cover of the Month award.
Oh,
It is the Briar Book of the Dead.
oh,
It's by A.G. Slatter, and it comes out February 13. It's set in the same universe as All the Murmuring Bones and The Path of Thorns. It's a gothic fairy tale of ghosts, witches, deadly secrets, and past sins. So, Ellie Briar is the first non-witch to be born into her family for generations. That would suck.
yeah.
The Briar family of witches run the town of Silverton. They care for its inhabitants with their skills and magic. That's so nice. In the usual scheme of things, they would be burnt for their sorcery, but the church has given them dispensation in return for their protection of the borders of the Darklands, where the very much feared Leech Lords hold sway.
Oh,
So since Ellie is useless as a witch, she's being trained as a steward, administering for the town and warding off the insistent interest of the church. When her grandmother dies suddenly, Ellie's cousin Audra rises to the position of Briar Witch, propelling Ellie into her new role. As she navigates fresh challenges, an unexpected new ability to see and speak to the dead leads her to uncover sinister family secrets, stories of burnings, lost grimoires, and evil spells. She's reeling from one revelation to the next, and she seeks answers from the long dead, and she's forced to decide who to trust. That is a lot going on, but I'm very curious to read it. It's the Briar Book of the Dead by A.G. Slatter.
I kind of like the idea that she's not going to be the head of whatever witch coven. She's kind of, like, I guess, quote, a side character, but the main side character.
Yeah, that's
So that'll be
really
interesting.
unusual, because
Yeah.
usually the witch is the hero of the story.
Yeah, so that sounds interesting. This next one, I personally have a lot of vampire/werewolf books on my list. I'm very pumped about it. This one's called Bride by Allie Hazelwood. It comes out February 6th. It is a dangerous alliance between Vampire Bride and an alpha werewolf. Ooh, I'm so excited. So the publisher is Berkeley. Misery Lark, the only daughter of the most powerful vampire councilman of the Southwest, is an outcast again. Her days of living in anonymity among the humans are over. She has been called upon to uphold a historic peacekeeping alliance between the vampires and their mortal enemies, the Wares, and she sees little choice but to surrender herself in the exchange again. Wares are ruthless and unpredictable, and their alpha, Lo Morland, is no exception. He rules his pack with absolute authority, but not without justice. And, unlike the Vampire Council, not without feeling. It's clear from the way he tracks Misery's every movement that he doesn't trust her, if only he knew how right he was. Because Misery has her own reasons to agree to this marriage of convenience. Reasons that have nothing to do with politics or alliances, and everything to do with the only thing she's ever cared about. And she is willing to do whatever it takes to get back what's hers, even if it means a life alone in Were territory, alone with the wolf. So the cover of this one is fantastic as well. Very beautiful. I'm kind of looking forward to this one. It sounds kind of interesting.
It sounds like she needs a were mentor too.
I know, so many Were mentors needed. So this is called Bride. This is by Allie Hazelwood.
My next book is called To Cage a God. It comes out February 20. It's by Elizabeth May. It's book 1 in a series called These Monstrous Gods. To cage a god is divine. To be divine is to rule. To rule is to destroy. Ooh, I think someone has their priorities backwards. The publisher is Daw. So, using ancient secrets, Galena and Sarah's mother grafted gods into their bones. They're bound to brutal deities, and they're granted forbidden power that no commoner has held in a millennia. The sisters have grown up to become living weapons. They were raised to overthrow an empire no matter the cost. But with their mother gone and their country on the brink of war, it falls to the sisters to take the helm of the rebellion and end the cruel reign of a royal family possessed by destructive gods. Because when the ruling Aluria invade, they conquer with fire and blood, and when they clash, the common folk burn. When Sarah is reuniting with her estranged lover, who's turned to be a violent rebel leader, Galena infiltrates the palace. In this world of deception and danger, her only refuge is an isolated princess, whose whip-smart tongue and sharp gaze threaten to uncover Galena's secret. She's torn between desire and duty. Galena must make a choice. Work together to expose the lies of the Empire or bring it all down. I vote for bring it down.
Destruction.
So this dark fantasy book by Elizabeth May is called To Cage a God.
That title is really enticing. That's very cool. My next book is one that a lot of people have been talking about. It is all over Book Talk and Instagram and everywhere. It is An Education in Malice. This is by S.T. Gibson, who is the author of A Dowry of Blood, which I still have yet to read, so I'm very excited about this. This comes out February 13th, and the publisher is Red Hook. It is a dark academia tale of blood, secrets, and insatiable hungers, so more vampires. I'm excited. Deep in the forgotten hills of Massachusetts stands St. Perpetua's College. Isolated and ancient, it is not a place for timid girls. Here, secrets are currency, ambition is lifeblood, and strange ceremonies welcome students into the fold. On her first day of class, Laura Sheridan is thrust into an intense academic rivalry with the beautiful and enigmatic Carmela. Together, they are drawn into the confidence of their demanding poetry professor, De La Fontaine, who holds her own dark obsession with Carmilla. But as their rivalry blossoms into something far more delicious, Laura must confront her own strange hungers. Tangled in a sinister game of politics, bloodthirsty professors, and magic, Laura and Carmilla must decide how much they are willing to sacrifice in their ruthless pursuit of knowledge. So that is An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson.
That is hard to follow up. My next book is End of Story. It's a novel by A.J. Finn. It comes out February 20. It's meant for fans of Knives Out. It is a thriller. Sebastian Trapp writes, I'll be dead in 3 months. Come tell my story. Sebastian Trapp is a reclusive mystery novelist, and he's asking his longtime correspondent, Nikki Hunter, who's an expert in detective fiction. Trapp has mere months to live and invites Nikki to his spectacular San Francisco mansion to help draft his life story while living alongside his beautiful second wife, Diana, his wayward nephew, Freddie, and his protective daughter, Madeline. Soon, Nikki finds herself caught in an irresistible case of real-life detective fever. So 20 years before this, on New Year's Eve 1999, Sebastian's first wife and teenage son vanished from different locations, never to be seen again. Did the perfect crime writer commit the perfect crime? And why has he emerged from seclusion 2 decades later to allow a stranger to dig into his past? As Nikki attempts to weave together the strands of Sebastian's life, she becomes obsessed with discovering the truth, while the protective daughter Madeline begins to question what her beloved father might actually know about that long-ago night. And when a corpse appears in the family's koi pond, I hate when that happens, both women are shocked to find that the past isn't gone. It's just waiting. The publisher is William Morrow. That's End of Story by A.J. Finn.
This is why we don't have koi ponds. Not because they're hard to maintain, but because possible bodies we might find. So my next book is also a psychological thriller, not kind of a fun one like Knives Out. This one's definitely more serious. This is Everyone Who Can Forgive Me Is Dead. This is by Jenny Hollander. It comes out February 6th, and it is published by Minotaur Books. She has everything to live for and everything to hide. 9 years ago, with the world's eyes on her, Charlie Colbert fled. The press and the police called Charlie a, quote, witness to a nightmarish event at her elite graduate school on Christmas Eve. Events known to the public as, quote, Scarlet Christmas. though Charlie knows she was much more than that. Oh no, was she the person who did it? So now Charlie has meticulously rebuilt her life. She's the editor-in-chief of a major magazine, engaged to the golden child of the publishing industry, and hell-bent on never, ever letting her guard down again. But when a buzzy film made by one of Charlie's former classmates threatens to shatter everything she's worked for, Charlie realizes how much she's changed in 9 years. She's not going to let anything, not even the people she once loved most, get in her way. This reminds me, I know it's a book too by the same author who did Bright Young Women, but there's a movie about it as well with, I can't even remember the actress right now, but it's very similar vibes that I'm getting from this book. But this sounds pretty interesting. This is Everyone Who Can Forgive Me Is Dead by Jenny Hollander.
My next book is The Fortune Seller. It's by Rachel Kapelke-Dale, and I hope I didn't say that wrong. The publisher is St. Martin's Press. It comes out February 13. Now, when it comes to seeing the future, do you really want to know? Middle-class Rosie McAllister has worked for years to fit in with her wealthy friends on the Yale equestrian team. But when she comes back from her junior year abroad with newfound confidence, she finds that the group has been infiltrated by a mysterious intruder, Annalise Tattinger. She sounds like a bitch.
She does.
A talented tarot reader and a brilliant writer, the enigmatic Annalise is unlike anyone Rosie has ever met. But when one of their friends notices money disappearing from her bank account, Annalise's place in the circle is thrown into question. As the girls turn against each other, the group's unspoken tensions and assumptions lead to devastating consequences. It's only after graduation, when Rosie begins a job at a Manhattan hedge fund, that she uncovers Annalise's true identity and how her place in their elite Yale set was no accident. Is it too late for Rosie to put right what went wrong, or does everyone's luck run out at some point? So it's not the darkest book on the planet. It's kind of like Mean Girls with tarot readings.
Yes.
But I wanted you to know about it. It's The Fortune Seller by Rachel Kapelke-Dale.
My next book is one I'm very excited about. It is The Fox Wife. It's by Yangsze Choo, and it comes out February 13th. Some people think foxes are similar to ghosts because we go around collecting ki, but nothing could be further from the truth. Or is it chi? It might be chi. We are living creatures just like you, only usually better looking. This book takes place in Manchuria in 1908. In the last years of the dying Qing Empire, a courtesan is found frozen in a doorway. Her death is clouded by rumors of foxes, which are believed to lure people by transforming themselves into beautiful women and handsome men. Bao, a detective with an uncanny ability to sniff out the truth, is hired to uncover the dead woman's identity. Since childhood, Bao has been intrigued by the fox gods, yet they've remained tantalizingly out of reach until perhaps now. Meanwhile, a family who owns a famous Chinese medicine shop can cure ailments but can't escape the curse that afflicts them. Their eldest sons die before their 24th birthdays. When a disruptive, winsome servant named Snow enters their household, the family's luck seems to change, or does it? Snow is a creature of many secrets, but most of all, she's a mother seeking vengeance for her lost child. Hunting a murderer, she will follow the trail from northern China to Japan, while Bao follows doggedly behind. Navigating the myths and misconceptions of fox spirits, both Snow and Bao will encounter old friends and new foes even as more deaths occur. I love Chinese mythology, especially East Asian mythology, so I am very excited for The Fox Wife by Yangsze Choo.
My next book is The Framed Women of Ardemore House. It's a novel by Brandy, Schillace. It's by Hanover Square Press. So Jo Jones has always had a little trouble fitting in. As a neurodivergent, hyperlexic book editor and divorced New Yorker transplanted into the English countryside, Jo doesn't know what stands out more, her Americanisms or her autism. After losing her job, her mother, and her marriage all in 1 year, she couldn't be happier to take possession of a possibly haunted and clearly unwanted family estate in North Yorkshire. But when the body of the moody town groundskeeper turns up on her rug with 3 bullets in his back, well, at least it wasn't the koi pond, Jo finds herself in potential danger, and she's also a potential suspect. At the same time, a peculiar family portrait vanishes from a secret room in the manor. Well, I guess it wasn't that secret. Bearing a strange connection to both the dead body and Jo's mysterious family history. With the aid of a Welsh antiques dealer, the morose local detective, and the Irish innkeeper's wife, Jo embarks on a mission to clear herself of blame and find the missing painting, unearthing a slew of secrets about the town and herself along the way, and she'll have to do it all before the killer strikes again.
Oh my god.
That is The Framed Women of Ardemore House, a novel by Brandy, Schillace.
And my final book of today is Island Witch by Amanda Giatisa, and it comes out February 20th. The publisher is Berkeley. I'm also looking forward to this book too. It is set in 19th century Sri Lanka, and it's inspired by local folklore. The daughter of a traditional demon priest, relentlessly bullied by peers and accused of witchcraft herself, tries to solve the mysterious attacks that have been terrorizing her coastal village. Being the daughter of the village Kapua, or demon priest, Amira is used to keeping mostly to herself, influenced by the new religious practices brought in by the British colonizers. The villagers who once respected her father's craft have turned on the family, yet they all still seem to call on him whenever supernatural disturbances arise. Now someone or something is viciously seizing upon men in the jungle. But instead of enlisting Amara's father's help, the villagers have accused him of carrying out the attacks himself. As she tries to clear her father's name, Amara finds herself haunted by dreams that eerily predict the dark forces on her island. And she can't shake the feeling that it's all connected to the night she was recovering from a strange illness and woke up, scared and confused, to hear her mother's frantic cries, quote, "No one can find out what happened." So this is called Island Witch. It's by Amanda Giatisa. This sounds really good. I'm very excited about it.
My final book for this part of the two-parter episode is King Nix. It's a novel by Kirsten Bacchus. It comes out February 27. It's a haunting mystery about lost girls and the woman driven to find them. So Anna Fort wants to be a supportive wife, even if that means accompanying her husband for the winter of 1918 to a remote, frozen island estate so he can finish his book as the guest of an eccentric millionaire. Well, we know what happens when you accompany your husband to try and finish a book. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Sorry. When she learns 3 girls are missing from a school run by their host, Anna realizes finding them is up to her, even if that means risking her husband's career and possibly her life. Her husband's masterpiece in progress features strange meteorological anomalies. That's hard to say when you have a cold, I apologize. Yes. Along with wild speculations about facts, quote unquote, that he thinks scientists hide from the public. Most people think Charles Fort is a crackpot, but that's about to change now that wealthy Claude Arkell is his patron. Yet Anna is sure something's not right on Prosper Island. Through the alarming return of her troubles, quote unquote, makes her question her own sanity. Is the figure in the woods really the ghost of her long-lost friend Mary, or a product of her disturbed imagination? Accompanied reluctantly by a fellow guest, the elegant and troubled Stella Bixby, Anna embarks on a dangerous quest to find the missing girls before Arkell finds her or her own mind unravels. Ah! I'm very interested in this book. It is called King Nix, spelled Nyx. It comes out February 27 from Kirsten Bacchus. And that is the end of our part 1 of 2 parts, Adult Fiction That's Dark, coming out February 2024. Our Dark Podcast episodes come out on Wednesdays and Fridays, and occasionally on Morbid Mondays. Be sure to stop by darksideofthelibrary.com. We're on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. And in our podcast episode show notes, you can find Amazon affiliate links to buy these books. We get a small commission if you do so. Thanks so much, and I'll chat with you in the next episode.